Joining me now is Liberal Senator Michaelia Cash. Senator, good to see you. I thought that was a very odd response to Susan Lee's question. What do you make of Labor's confusion on the matter?
Well, I think it was even worse than odd, Danica. I mean, what hubris the Prime Minister has in relation to an issue that is just so important to the Australian people. And that is, of course, our strict biosecurity standards. This government, the Albanese government, has made a decision to let into Australia US beef born and raised in Mexico and Canada. Australians have the right to know, was this decision made, as Labor says, on the basis of science and biosecurity, or based on what Senator Farrell said yesterday, then didn't say yesterday, but also the comments by, of course, the US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, directly connecting it to a trade relationship. In other words, to get a trade deal done. Australians take biosecurity seriously. The Prime Minister, quite frankly, was contemptuous of Australians today in his answer to the question. All we want to know is on what was the basis upon which this decision was made. And at the moment, there is so much confusion out there. Senator Farrell saying one thing, the Prime Minister another. Enough is enough. Australians have the right to know.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like nobody within Labor knows what's going on that very important issue right now. Now, I want to ask you about the situation in the Middle East. Israel's embassy in Canberra has claimed that there is no starvation in Gaza, and the images of emaciated children from the Palestinian enclave are part of a false campaign by Hamas. Senator, can I ask you firstly what you make of this, and also the Prime Minister's tone on Israel has become stronger than ever. He would not rule out recognising a Palestinian statehood in the future. What do you make of all this?
Well, in the first instance, there are a lot of conflicting reports now coming out of Gaza. But I have to say, the images they are distressing. The question needs to be asked, should more aid be getting into Gaza? The answer is yes, and both the international agencies and Israel should be doing what they can to facilitate that. But the moral obligation here lies directly at the foot of the terrorists, Hamas. They started this war when they butchered and slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. And what Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese seem to refuse to admit is that Hamas could end the war tomorrow. They could release the hostages and they could lay down their arms. Hamas chooses to prolong this war. And just on aid in any event, the aid that goes into Gaza, Danica, it's currently there are credible reports that Hamas is taking it. What Israel is trying to do is put in place a process that gets the aid that goes in directly to the civilians in Gaza. That's what needs to happen. And as far as Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong go, when it comes to recognising a Palestinian state, shame on them for even thinking about the recognition of a Palestinian state when the terrorists are in control of Gaza. Shame on them.
Exactly. Hamas is still active and there are all those hostages still underneath, about 50 of them. We don't know if they're dead or alive. So to even be having this conversation right now is just so premature. It's an absolute disgrace. I agree. Now, you are backing a WA Liberal Party motion to scrap Welcome to Country and Net Zero. I've got to say, Senator, you have been praised in the last few days for your stance on these matters, but also your incredible support of Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price in the Senate on Thursday. Now, I know you're a senator. You're in the wrong house right now, but I've got to ask you, have you got leadership ambitions?
I love the Senate. I love my role as a senator. The only ambition I have is to replace Penny Wong as the leader of the government in the Senate, just not on Labor's side. But just in relation to Susan Lee, you know, she is doing a great job post the election a loss in actually allowing us as a Liberal Party to have a discussion in relation to our policies. So I think that is actually a good thing.
So you're fully behind Susan Lee, because I know on the issues of net zero and everything else, she's consulting with the party. She's taking her time to come up with a decision. You've been very clear on your decision. So is there a split in the party?
No, not at all. As I said, I mean, as Susan has made it very clear to us all, our policies are up for review, but our values are not. So I am very pleased that we are now able to have these discussions. They are constructive, and ultimately we will form an opinion as a party on a number of policy issues.